This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now then, if you are new to playing lead guitar, if you're just taking your first steps on that journey, and let's imagine you're at the point that a lot of people find themselves at, where you learn maybe a pentatonic box shape or two, and you can just, with a good following wind, you can do a string bend or a hammer-on or a pull-off, all those kind of nuts and bolts techniques. But every time you put a jam track on, it just sounds a bit flat, and it just sounds like you're kind of noodling around the scale, and you're just not quite sure why. Well, the answer is that there's one important thing that you are lacking, and that is phrasing. So today I thought I'd do a solo which is nice and accessible. There's nothing intimidating about it, hopefully. It comes from this album, an album called In the Eye of the Storm by Roger Hodgson, who was one half of the duo that was Supertramp, and this was his first album after he left the band, and it came out in 1984, I think. And the solo we're going to look at today is from the lead-off song on that album, a song called Had a Dream, Sleeping with the Enemy, and it goes like this. So as I say, hopefully you can see there that there's nothing too intimidating about what's going on in that solo, but it does contain a lot of valuable little nuggets that you can make use of yourself in terms of phrasing. Here's a little bit of an explanation.
Solo explanation.
Right then, simple but effective little solo this, and we'll begin as always by taking the tuner off the top of my headstock, and then we'll take a look at what the chords are we're playing over. It's basically twice through an 8-bar chord sequence that goes 2 bars of G to 2 bars of G7 over F. Basically, when you add an F note into a G chord, it becomes a G7, and we're just doing it in the bass here. Like that. Very tense chord, which sets up a bit of tension that we then resolve when we hit the C chord that comes next for 2 bars, and then we're back to the G chord again. So that kind of goes a bit like this. And as I say, twice through that. So what we're playing over the top of this, incidentally, in case you're interested, that chord sequence is in the G Mixolydian mode, but that doesn't affect anything that we're going to do with the lead guitar over the top. We are pentatonic all the way here. Position 1 of G major pentatonic, which you may also know by the name of E minor pentatonic. And we start off with this lick on the 15th fret of the B string, where we're just kind of bending and releasing that D note up to an E and back down again. And then finishing on the G note at the 12th fret of the 3rd string. Then, a great ploy for any soloing kind of situation is to play a lick and then play it again, but a slight variation. And that's exactly what we do here. Just bringing in that little 15th fret G note on the top E string in the middle of that lick there. So those two halves go together like this. Followed by... Then we're into probably the most widely used pentatonic bend ever. Everybody seems to use this 3rd string at the 14th fret. So that's just, it's kind of a pre-bend and release really. and then some more of this kind of stuff, like that. Very effective little double stop bend there. So what I'm doing is bending the 14th fret on the 3rd string whilst holding the 15th fret on the 2nd string. And then we come into like that. Now what's interesting there is we're getting, I did a video ages ago about a particularly effective rhythm called either the clave rhythm or the clave rhythm, however you want to describe it. And basically what we're doing in that rhythm is you accent on beat 1, and then I think it's on the and of beat 2 and on the 4. And this is kind of almost what's going on there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's actually on the 1, the 3 and the 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's actually on the and of the 4, I beg your pardon, so it's nothing like the clave rhythm at all. But it's a particularly effective syncopation. I'll play it slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that. So on the 1, on the 3 and in the and of beat 4. And then we have a nice little rhythmically displaced lick coming after that. So notice how all of the stuff that's going on in this solo, whilst scale-wise it's quite simple, rhythmically is where we're creating the interest. We've got a lick that we kind of stay on for a few bars really, where we're just bending this note again, this A note up to a B at the 14th fret on the G string, and then playing the D note at the 15th fret on the B string twice. So that's giving us... Now what's rhythmically interesting about that is that it's basically 1.5 beats long. So every time you play it, you're going to be starting in a different place in relation to the beat. So you're going to be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You see how it's landing on the beat and off the beat, on the beat and off the beat. Very, very effective little technique that. And we basically, that kind of thing carries us through to the end of the solo, because we've got, and then, that lick again. And then probably not the faster, you wouldn't describe any of the solos being fast, but the busiest little bit of the solo comes towards the end, where we go, just that, da 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 da, which is again just that stock pentatonic thing there, bend at the 14th fret, then the 2 top strings, 2nd and 1st string, at the 12th fret, and then just that little da-da-da like that is what comes next. 16th note, semiquavers, call them what you want, like that. And the significance of that is you're saving the busiest part of the solo right towards the very end. It does give a sense that you've built up towards something, and that you've got, you're reaching some sort of climactic moment. And then we just coast home for the remainder of the solo just by repeating this G note at the 12th fret here. This is happening over the final 2 bars of G before the vocals come back in again. So there you go, a very, very simple solo, but very effective as well. As I say, largely because of the rhythmic kind of things that are going on, like with a kind of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this note here that you'll accent as the naturally tend to kind of emphasise, because it's the first note in that repeating cycle of notes, is kind of landing on the beat, then off the beat, then on the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and so on. It's called rhythmic displacement, it's called syncopation, it goes by many different names, but it's very effective. So there you go, now you know what to do, go away and have some fun with it. And as usual, you'll find a full tab for the solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with yourself, and that explanation you've just seen there. All of that is up on my Patreon page, there's the address, link in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who support me in that, or any of the other ways which are also linked down in the description. One thing I forgot to mention there as well in that little explanation is the pacing of the solo. Notice how there are pauses, there are gaps, everything is punctuated, even if it's only just kind of half a beat, where there's a definite end to each phrase and a beginning to the next one. So you're not just kind of burbling out with this stream of consciousness. Another very important point, along with using repetition, playing the same lick maybe more than once. How much repetition was there in that solo? Go back and check it out again, and you'll see that a lot of it is just basically the same lick played slightly differently and multiple times. That syncopation thing, massively useful way of making just a mundane bunch of notes sound, you know, just that little bit more interesting. So there's a lot there for newbies to playing lead guitar, and arguably there's a lot there that even seasoned pros can make use of as well. So there you go. Hope you're going to have fun with it. But that is very much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.